why diabetes, or what causes it, is the most essential thing you can know for your health, overall health. Once in a while, I make a point of this idea called the curse of knowledge. And basically, the curse of knowledge is not remembering what it was like to not know something. I remember when I didn't know shit about diabetes. I thought it was something that would never happen to me. I didn't need to know. Happened to some people randomly, kind of like cancer, and that there was nothing whatsoever you could do to prevent it. So why bother learning about it? Fast forward 2-3 years later, it's absolutely not the case. My assumptions about diabetes and the importance of it were absolutely wrong, and now I know that diabetes is 100% reversible, especially type 2. Type 3 has been deemed Alzheimer's disease. As if you have type 3 diabetes, it's basically Alzheimer's disease. More so, if you have Alzheimer's disease, it's considered type 3 diabetes. It's an offshoot. One of the things that diabetes, or basically high insulin levels in the body, can do to your body. So, where to even start? There is type 1 diabetes, where your body, well, let's start with type 2, or pre-diabetes is where your blood sugar starts to go up. Your pancreas is putting out insulin, but your body's becoming insulin resistant. So it's not using the insulin, not pulling it out of your blood, so to speak. So, and not pushing the blood sugar down as well as it was before, keeping it at a healthy level. So the thing that's going on in the background is insulin. And insulin, for the longest time in your life, it has been keeping your blood sugars in a normal range. If you ever have your blood sugar measured at the doctor, or A1C or whatever, it's kept in a normal range because of insulin. And the more insulin resistant your body gets, the more you will have insulin going up and up and up and up in the background. If it's not measured, it'll keep going up and up and up just to keep your blood sugar in a healthy range. Now, prediabetes is where the blood sugar, you start seeing the raise in blood sugar and an A1C, right? And that is an indicative of insulin resistance, which is actually the proper term for diabetes. You can say that you have insulin resistance in the family. It's not you have diabetes in the family, you have insulin resistance in the family. Your body becomes insulin resistant. The insulin builds up higher in the blood. The pancreas needs to put out more insulin to try to keep your blood sugar down. And that's basically type 2 and pre-diabetes and type 2 diabetes. At a certain point, if unchecked, and you do nothing other than, take your insulin shots or whatever as a type 2 diabetic to try to keep your blood sugars down, and you do no diet change, no lifestyle change, what's going to happen is your pancreas is going to burn out, essentially. The insulin levels are going to get so high for so long, and if it didn't destroy other parts of your body and cause other havoc, it will eventually burn out your pancreas, and you would become type 1 diabetic, where your pancreas no longer produces enough insulin to keep that blood sugar down at bay. And so you need then to have insulin shots to actually keep your blood sugar down. And so that's kind of where a person becomes totally dependent on insulin, like basically for the rest of their life. Now, I have heard that it is possible, I'm not certain of this, how reliable this is, but if in fact you change your diet where you no longer need, your body senses that you no longer need as much insulin, and that the shots aren't necessarily necessary to keep your blood sugar down because you're eating a lower carbohydrate diet, perhaps over time your pancreas can come back and start functioning normally. So that is a possibility. I'm pretty certain that's a possibility. A lot of people think that type 1 diabetes is absolutely not something you can heal. But I believe over time, if you switch to a lower carb diet and you change your lifestyle to involve more weightlifting, calisthenics, basically resistance training, essentially, where you're holding a certain amount of weight for a certain amount of time, like squatting or whatever, and doing leg presses or whatever, and you're pushing your muscles to their max. Your muscles can then suck in they don't need insulin to bring in the excess blood sugar. So any excess in your body, your muscles will just draw in. You don't need any insulin for that. So you become less diabetic when you do those exercises. So to think that at one point I had no perception of diabetes, didn't think it was necessary to learn, and now I realize that it is essential to learn about this, because the ramifications is, people who have diabetes, they lose their legs, they have bad skin conditions. Diabetes is a blood sugar disorder, so if you have an excess, that can lead to cancer. In fact, even for a friend of mine, it even has led to that. So it is a possibility, and to know that you can not be diabetic in your lifetime, you can not have cancer potentially in your lifetime, and not have especially pancreatic cancer in your lifetime. That's the most deadly cancer. From what I remember, it's probably to this day. I mean, it's always been like pancreatic cancer is the one to be most feared. But the pancreas is the thing that produces insulin. So if you're not overburdening the pancreas, more than likely you're never going to get pancreatic cancer, because the pancreas is related to insulin and blood sugar. So if we get on a low carb diet, not a keto diet, there's a big difference. Keto is like lower than 50 grams of carbohydrate. And low carb is somewhere around, less than 150, grams of carbohydrates. In some cases it's like 100, but somewhere around there, you're generally a lower carb diet. And if you're getting more of your carbohydrates from natural sources like fruit, in fact, fruit has, between the fiber and the fructose in the fruit, it actually mitigates and lowers, I wouldn't say lowers your blood sugar, but it doesn't create a blood sugar spike, which is basically like redlining your car, your body's engine. The more often you eat things like Snickers, bread, pasta, cookies, crackers, anything that's a processed carbohydrate that comes in a box or a bag, essentially at the grocery store, you're going to essentially spike your blood sugar. Now you can prevent that by eating your salad with fiber first, if you can, in a meal. Your salads first, and then your protein and fat, and then your starchy carbs, like potato or yogurt or something like that. Just the sweet carbs that are natural, and then your sugars, your actual sweets, like your ice cream. If you're going to have ice cream at the end of a dinner, you would want that obviously at the end. It usually comes at the end anyway, which is nice if you stick to that. I used to be the one who was like, eat dessert first, and I thought it didn't matter. Literally for the longest time, it was eat dessert first, and now I know you absolutely don't eat dessert first, because it cripples your system for the other food that you eat. and spikes your blood sugar right away, and it doesn't help at all. It doesn't help with the food that you eat after. In other words, the food that you eat after it doesn't help lower your blood sugar because it's already up and it's going to stay up because of that. So yeah, there's a way to eat to lower your insulin resistance, or to help fix your insulin resistance, become more insulin sensitive. There's a way to exercise that fixes that, and there's a way to be and live stress-free that actually affects your insulin resistance. And between those three things, at least, a stress-free life, lowering your stress in any way you can, doing those calisthenic type exercises, resistance training, and eating a diet that is low in processed carbohydrates. Again, if you're going to have something sweet, have it in the form of a fruit that you like. You know, if mango is the sweetest fruit and you're like, oh, well, that's too sweet, it's like eating a candy bar. No, it's absolutely not like eating a candy bar. It's got fiber in it. It's got tons of nutrients in it that you wouldn't get from a candy bar that's totally processed and mostly sugar. So in as many cases as you can, you want to eat a low glycemic carbohydrate, especially a non-processed carb, not a bag or a box, but also a low glycemic, and even further, if you want, is a low glycemic load real food. You know, like there are certain fruits that have a lower glycemic load. I forget them off the top of my head. Like they could have a low glycemic index, which is technically good, but they could have a high glycemic load. So be mindful of that. But yeah, non-processed foods that are low glycemic, or better yet, low glycemic load. And those three things essentially can reverse diabetes and prevent, the cancer, especially pancreatic cancer. So very important to know. And there is a book that I recently read that sums this all up with a nice bow tie and like a cherry on top. And it's called Why We Get Sick by Ben Bikman, PhD, I think. I don't have it in the car with me right now, but yeah, definitely check that book out, get it. It is gold. It is literally, in regards to your health, it is like a maintenance manual for your body, and I would treat it literally like gold. And where do you store gold? In a safe. It's that powerful, that important, that essential for healing and for maintaining health. And the key word is healing, because anyone who has chronic illness, mystery illness, this book can help all of that go away. So don't discount what I've said here. It is something that you would want to get for anyone you love. I'm assuming you love yourself, number one, you. But then anyone in your life who is struggling with the health issues, or that you never want to have struggle with health issues. Now, given you can lead the camel to the water, you can't make it drink, but at least you can do your part to give them the tool and let them know that it is a tool to help them stay well for as long as humanly possible. It's called health span. It's the number of years that you exist in this life in good health, right? And so the goal is to be vital and happy as long as humanly possible, right up until the day that your heart stops, basically, and you die. In the future, they might be able to prevent that, and they probably are. They already are. Essentially, people are saved by heart surgeries. My brother is one that was saved, essentially, by bypass heart surgery. So it is hugely essential for anyone you love to get this book for them. And I'll let me see if I can bring it up on my other phone. And I was just reading the book. so I can show you the title. If it's here still, pretty sure it is, but I can show you in a sec, assuming it comes up. Yeah, here it is. I think I can flip this around. If not, I'll just rotate the camera. Hold on. It's called Why We Get Sick. Hopefully you can see that. By Benjamin Bikman, PhD. Okay, anyway, that's all for now. I love you all. I hope this message finds you well, and if not, trust and know that I've read so much about this from other books and so much online to tell me that this book is absolute gold. It's basically gold with a diamond on top. So get it as soon as you can and start learning the things that you need to know to stay healthy and avert a lot of debilitating chronic illness in your life. Okay, bye for now.